with Thundurus there, Prankster Thunderwave kind of trumps that a little bit. Um, so I had to worry about that. Tyranitar, I was expecting because that Pokemon is just unreal, and it can really counter a lot of the Pokemon that I really enjoy using, which can range from flying Pokemon, so like the flying dragons, Salamence, Dragonite, and the like, all the way to Garchomp and Flygon. He can learn Ice Punch, but he also learns Crunch, obviously, for being Dark type. And if I try to use any of the Latios, he pretty much just number one walls them out because of the Sandstream, but he also can one or two hit kill them depending on how his EVs are invested. And the Skarmory I expected, just because that thing can basically wall out most of what I have that can set up on him. And Diancie, the Mega Diancie, is what I assume would be his Mega in the party. That thing is just it's really fast, and especially if he runs a Rock Polish set, I mean, it can basically take out my entire team by itself if it's given time to set up. The only one, that's the main reason that I brought Sizer, was just because I needed to deal with the Mega Diancie, and obviously Bullet Punch will just one-shot that thing. So, I needed to make sure that I had Sizer protected very well in this fight, which is why you'll notice that I brought Kingdra and Palkia. And the reason for that is because both of those Pokemon are 4 times resistant to water damage, or I'm sorry, to fire damage. Well, water as well, but fire is mainly the reason. So, I had a way to shield him, and Kingdra is also Swift Swim, so I was going to be setting up a Rain Dance, so that would mitigate fire damage even further. So it would just make my job a lot easier. And Kingdra has a King's Rock. My Mega Ampharos I was bringing because I anticipated the Skarmory, and he gets Mold Breaker as his ability, and that basically just ignores Sturdy, so I can just one-shot Skarmory with a Thunderbolt. So if nothing else, he may get his hazard up, like a Stealth Rocks, or try to go for a Defog or something, but then I can just knock him out instantly. And I mentioned earlier how Thundurus can have Volt Absorb, which I assumed would be to protect the Skarmory. Mold Breaker ignores the Volt Absorb, so either way, it's just a really safe option, and that was the main reason I brought him. Bronzong I mainly brought to set up a Trick Room if I need it, in case he tries to counter-sweep me, and basically, if he had Landorus Eye, the Cloud form, that he basically completely walls out any build that guy has. The only one that he doesn't completely wall out is a Focus Blast one, but most people won't run that just because it's really not reliable, and especially versus the group that I'm in, it would be much better to run without it. But if he has the standard, which would be the Sludge Wave, the Earth Power, and Psychic and Calm Mind, I'm immune to ground and poison damage with Bronzong, and I resist Psychic 4 times. So, well, I take 25% damage from it. So, he really has nothing that he can do to Bronzong, and Bronzong can just Trick Room and one-shot him with Gyro Ball. So that was kind of his main purpose there, was to field ground attacks. And then I had Kyurem Black, which it was running Choice Scarfed, and the main idea there was, if somehow Mega Diancie does get out, assuming that she doesn't Rock Polish, he should be able to land a solid kill on her. Mine is a mixed attacker, and he has Flash Cannon. So I just really wanted to make sure that if Mega Diancie was there, that I had multiple ways to take her down. Genesect I was not expecting. I was thinking that Sizer would be in his team, because I can also run Diancie, and I figured he would be anticipating Fairy Pokemon on my team. Interestingly enough, he didn't bring any counter to fairy types, and I didn't actually have any fairies on my team, so that was pretty fortunate for him. Now, let's go ahead and start on this battle, and we can see how this played out. Sorry for the long introduction. So we both led here. He sent out Genesect first. I started with Kingdra. I was really happy about this actually because Genesect is probably the only lead that he had that wouldn't do much to my Kingdra. So yeah, he did that. Of course, he critically hit me. Whatever. He sends out Tyranitar, which I was kind of expecting because of the sand stream to try to just wall me out. He told me later that this was an assault-vested Tyranitar. I set up the Rain Dance, which of course negates this, actually puts him in the negative for his special defense, pretty much because it boosts my water damage, so he withdraws. I was betting on, I don't remember which Gyarados may be coming out, but he sent in Skarmory, which I was much happier about. I didn't get a burn, but he lost like 90% health there, so I expected the Tyranitar to come back in. I was gonna predict the Rain Dance, but I didn't want him to set up again, so I just went for another Scald, which I did, and he takes like no damage from it, and this is a modest Kingdra, but I did get the burn, which just worked out so perfect for me. Now at that point, I was pretty much thinking, Kingdra has done his job, like there's nothing more that I really need him to do, so anything else that I get after this point is just, gravy. I reset the Rain Dance so I do additional damage, and I get my speed boost back. He uses Rock Tomb on me, which I thought was very interesting because I also brought a Pokemon that knew Rock Tomb to ruin sweepers, kind of like he's doing right now. And so here we have Scald, of course, but I get a critical hit, that's just fantastic. I couldn't have gotten luckier in that spot because I really don't think that would have killed, especially with the Assault Vest. So, fortunately, he went down. Now, he Earthquakes here. Oh, he almost freaking got me. So, I throw out a Toxic. I actually gave Kingdra Toxic here for just this situation where, in case he's about to die, he can just Toxic something real quick if it's more beneficial. But he was holding a Lumberry probably to prevent burns. I expected another Earthquake. I actually thought he was Scarfed because he outsped my Kingdra the first turn, even though my Kingdra was +1. But I didn't put any EV investment into my Kingdra's speed, so that actually puts his speed to 137. And he told me that his Gyarados was Jolly, so it was at 146. He wouldn't have outsped me if he wasn't Jolly, so that was just poor prediction on my part. So now his Gyarados is at +1, but my Kyurem is Choice Scarfed. So now that I know that he's not, I know I'm guaranteed to outspeed him, and he's just going to eat a Fusion Bolt to the face. So he pretty much has to make a decision here. He sends out Skarmory. I don't know if that was in his best interest, but that's what he did. So he sacrifices his Skarmory at this point. So Skarmory really did nothing this battle. That was very fortunate for me because he could have really walled a lot of my Pokemon out, including Sizer later. Alright, so Diancie's out now. I don't want to run the risk of it being a Rock Polish set. I sent out Sizer because the rain is still up, so even if this is a Hidden Power Diancie, Hidden Power Fire, it'll weaken it to such a degree that this won't even matter. Like, it would barely do half my health and damage. So it sends out Genesect again. I was setting up the Swords Dance, and I was thinking back, I'm like, come on, please let the rain last one more turn so I can, like, get 2 bullet punches on this guy, surviving a flamethrower, but no such luck, so I had to withdraw. I sent out Palkia again as the flamethrower, so had 4 times resistance. The rain isn't still up, but you'll see here, he takes it very, very well. Considering I have no defensive EVs in it. So here I chose Surf, because that's the most neutral attack that I have. This Palkia is Choice Specs. So, I mean, that does a sizable amount of damage to Gyarados, but that is a bulky Gyarados. Like, that should do so much more damage than that. And so he sends out Thundurus, I guess assuming that I would switch, but I didn't. So I Surf again, which should one-hit kill him, but he is Focus Sash. And I'm like, oh no, do not paralyze me. So I withdraw and I send out Ampharos, because Ampharos cannot be paralyzed. He Volt Switches, anticipating a switch, so he gets, you know, basically the free counter. I expected Gyarados to come back in, which he does. Unfortunately for him, Mega Ampharos is pretty bulky, and I have max defense EVs. So he's going to go for an Earthquake here and try to get the kill for the Moxie boost. But he's going to end up eating a Thunderbolt to the face. And, I mean, it's still very close to landing the kill, but no cigar. And I apologize if this camera's a little shaky. I'm, like, trying to multitask here while I'm running this. So he sends out Mega Diancie. At this point I figured that he didn't have Rock Polish because he protected earlier. So I decide at this point, since Mega Ampharos won't outspeed any of his other Pokemon, it's best to just sack him at this point and come in with Bronzong, because I know there's nothing he can do to hurt Bronzong, and I will get a free Trick Room set up here. So no matter who he pulls in. Now, my Bronzong is the Brave nature and is maxed out attack, so in this situation, you know, the Genesect, even though he resists it, because he's Choice Scarfed and he's got so much extra speed, Gyro Ball does, it basically has a move power of 150, so even at not very effective, you see there, it did basically a third of his health, and he U-turns here. He's going to go back to Mega Diancie, because he's going to protect, which is a good idea. He's basically trying his best to stall out the Trick Room as long as he can. I mean, if she got hit with Gyro Ball, she would be instantly dead. So, you know, I knew that's kind of what he was predicting. I didn't have any other moves to do anyway, so I just kind of waited. I threw out Rock Tomb here to drop Genesect's speed, because I wasn't sure if he would stay this turn and take the Gyro Ball and try to just Flamethrower kill me. But, you know, I just went for the Gyro Ball instead of, well, I Rock Tombed him because I wanted to make sure that if something else came in behind him, that I would be able to outspeed him. But he killed me anyway with the U-turn, so, yeah, and he gets a switch, but that also just gives me a free counter pick. So he pulls out Thundurus, and I was really debating going into Sizer to just Bullet Punch spam the rest of them, but, I needed to make sure Thundurus went down before Sizer came in, because I don't want him to Thunder Wave, just like this, and have me get Parahaxed, and then not be able to kill one of the remaining Pokemon. So of course here you see Palkia gets paralyzed, which, I mean, that's one of the worst things that can happen. And his Thunderbolt takes me below half health, so it was kind of scary, but Palkia breaks through and surfs him. So at this point, you know, I know it's game over, because his Genesect is below 10% health. I still have Sizer at full health, I still have Qrem with his Choice Scarf at full health. So once that, I mean, no matter what, Diancie cannot, like, she can't survive, and neither can Genesect. So, you know, Sizer's gonna come in, he's gonna Bullet Punch, there's really nothing he has, there's no option for him at this point, so I was able to protect Sizer long enough to work around the rest of the team and get in for that Bullet Punch kill. And my Sizer is holding a Metronome item, because pretty much all you do with him is spam Bullet Punch, so the more I use it, the more damage it does, and yeah, it kind of makes it similar to Rollout, but the scaling isn't quite as high, so, you know, on that punch, it was doing like 10 or 20% more damage than normal, enough to take out that 10%. And so there we have it. That was the battle. I mean, this guy was really good, and his team preparation was really nice as well. We talked about it for a little while after the fact, but, you know, hopefully you enjoyed this battle, and you'll tune in for more that come in the future. And you should check out the Facebook group if you look up Royal Conquest of the Knoughts. I'll put the name in the description. You know, you can get into battles like this one as well. They're a lot of fun. Alright, guys, take it easy. Have a good night.